We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some rather heartbreaking or unfortunate news regarding the tribal chief Roman Reigns, and more so Roman's future in WWE for 2022, and overall an update on Roman Reigns' career in wrestling altogether as we begin the new year. Now, as many of you are likely well aware, after being pulled from the Day 1 pay-per-view the other week, which upset many wrestling fans as it cancelled the planned Universal title rematch between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, most were seriously worried about Roman Reigns' status in WWE, and when he would be returning to the company after being affected by the worldwide health situation in a big way. However, much to the delight of wrestling fans, Roman Reigns returned to WWE a lot sooner than most originally thought, because just 1 week after being pulled from Day 1, Roman made his thunderous return to WWE last night on Friday Night SmackDown, which featured a tense face-off between Roman Reigns and the new WWE champion Brock Lesnar, which clearly let fans know that WWE are far from being done or finished with the Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns feud, and that we are simply getting a bit of a temporary detour in this feud for the 2022 Royal Rumble, which will see Brock Lesnar defend his WWE Championship against dream opponent Bobby Lashley, and when it comes to Roman Reigns, it seems like the head of the table could be defending his Universal title against a shocking opponent in Seth Rollins, who would be coming over to SmackDown from Monday Night Raw. Now, with that being said, the big news and rumors we have to share regarding Roman Reigns is definitely not the best news for Roman's fans, because according to a new backstage report, 2022 is looking as though it will be Roman Reigns' last year in WWE as a full-time talent, with one of our sources mentioning that Roman Reigns' 3-year contract with WWE will be expiring later this year, one that was originally signed back in July of 2019, and that when Roman goes to negotiate a new contract with WWE, he will be asking Vince McMahon for a part-time special appearance kind of deal, like Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, or John Cena, because Roman is wanting to begin his acting career in Hollywood, which has been something that has interested Roman for quite some time now, and feels that his days as a full-time talent in WWE are officially nearing the end, partly because Roman does not want to wrestle full-time into his 40s, and also because of his underlying health issues that Reigns feels will shorten his career a little bit. Roman Reigns will be turning 37 this year, so while Roman's not that old compared to a lot of other talent on the roster in WWE, considering Roman wants to get out of the wrestling business a bit earlier than others, partly because of his health and also because of other business aspirations, like focusing more time on movies, new reports indicate that 2022 will be Roman's last full-time year with WWE, before choosing to sign a contract that would see Reigns appear far less frequently for next year. Now, in all honesty, this is not really that surprising that Roman Reigns is planning to lessen his wrestling activity once his current WWE contract expires, because Roman Reigns has really accomplished all there is to do in WWE already, and is well on track to having the longest Universal title reign in WWE history. And after that, there really is not anything Roman could do to top his accomplishments in the company, as he's already headlined WrestleMania on multiple occasions, with it likely that Reigns will once again be main eventing the Showcase of the Immortals this year. Roman's had plenty of world title reigns, won the Royal Rumble, and has feuded with every big name in the company. Also adding to the rumors that Roman Reigns is going to be wrestling his final full-time year in WWE for 2022 is that Roman recently stated in an interview late last year that his days in WWE could be done sooner rather than later, and while it is unlikely that Roman Reigns would be flat out retiring and leaving WWE completely in 2022, like we mentioned, this is likely Roman's last full-time busy year in WWE, before toning things down quite a bit. We now have a sad update on Sasha Banks' status in WWE. As some of you have likely heard, Sasha Banks seemingly had a small injury at a recent live event, but following the show, Sasha Banks would update fans on her social media that she was fine and thanking fans for their concern. But it has now sadly been revealed that Sasha Banks was in fact injured after last Sunday's WWE live event, and will be out of action from the company for the foreseeable future. Sasha Banks has reportedly been removed from WWE for the next 6 to 8 weeks, if not longer, to recover, and with this truly unfortunately timed injury, Sasha will most likely be missing the upcoming 2022 Royal Rumble pay-per-view event, and not be participating in the Women's Royal Rumble match this year, nor will Banks be facing off against Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title, which was a rumored match for the Royal Rumble card. Now this is definitely very unfortunate news concerning Sasha Banks, as this injury is coming at a very bad time, considering all the plans WWE had for Sasha Banks beginning the new year, and Sasha will now be forced to sit on the sidelines and miss the Royal Rumble, as well as a few more weeks of television from WWE. Hopefully Sasha Banks' recovery goes well and that she is able to return sooner rather than later, because her presence is definitely needed in SmackDown's women's division going into WrestleMania 38 for sure. With that being said, providing Sasha Banks heals up and returns to WWE in the timeline provided by the company, there's still a very good chance that Sasha Banks will be Charlotte Flair's next major challenger for the SmackDown Women's title, and will likely get a match against Flair at WrestleMania this year. So while in the short term Sasha's status in WWE is very bleak, the overall future of Sasha Banks this year remains very bright, thankfully, and we hope Sasha gets better soon. Now following the latest batch of WWE releases, which included Road Dogg and William Regal, many fans were very intrigued regarding how Triple H has reacted to these releases from WWE, and how Hunter feels about the whole situation. Well, a new backstage report has leaked that Triple H has not surprisingly been very upset by these latest WWE releases, and overall just feels very deflated right now behind the scenes. There's no doubt that Triple H is justified for feeling this way, as most fans are in agreement that these latest releases, especially William Regal, were a huge mistake. We finish off today's wrestling news and rumors video with some pretty fantastic news coming out of last night's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. As most of you are well aware, last night's edition of the Blue Brand was the first SmackDown episode of 2022, and not surprisingly, Vince McMahon was fully intending for WWE to get off to a great start for the year ratings-wise, hence why Brock Lesnar was advertised for the show, as well as announcing that Roman Reigns would be making his return on the show as well. In the end, the preliminary ratings are now in, and WWE had drawn an average of 2.16 million viewers for SmackDown last night, which is a very impressive number given the recent ratings trend WWE had been dealing with, and this is overall such a great number for WWE, which will likely be even higher once the official rating is revealed early next week, which would likely be somewhere between 2.2 and 2.4 million viewers. This is definitely a step in the right direction for the company, which had been in quite a rating slump to close out 2021.